So with the World Cup currently going on right now, I thought it would be an appropriate time to talk about sports anime. Now, there's a huge variety of sports anime, both good and questionable, but there's basically an anime for like every sport at this point. You've got basketball anime, volleyball anime, boxing anime, you got swimming anime, you got sports anime about girls battling each other in World War II era tanks. Yes, it exists. But not all sports anime are built the same, if you get what I'm saying. Of course, they each revolve around a specific sport, but it's just the way that some of them go about the sport that's completely different than others. To get a better understanding of what I'm trying to say, take Haikyu for example. Haikyu takes a more realistic approach to the genre. The series has a pretty simple plot. A high school boys volleyball team is trying their hardest to make it into the Japanese Volleyball Nationals, or Japanese High School Volleyball Nationals. You get what I'm saying. And the show manages to be great. Personally, I don't even care about volleyball, but this show was actually heat. I enjoyed most of the matches from the show, with my favorite one being from season 3. The entire season is just a 10-episode volleyball match, which may sound pretty insane to people who haven't seen the series before. And if you would have told me when I first started the series that there was going to be a 10-episode volleyball match, then I probably would have dropped the show right there. I'm not even going to lie. But I would be lying to you if I told you that this wasn't my favorite match in the entire show. I was thoroughly entertained throughout all 10 of these episodes. This shit really had me thinking like, damn, I'm getting hyped over volleyball. Which, like I said, it's just basic volleyball. Like, no special abilities or nothing. Can't say the same thing for Kuroko no Basket though, which is here we go. Completely different from Haikyu. See, Kuroko no Basket, to put into simple terms, is basically Dragon Ball Z, but it's high school boys playing basketball. Or just any battle shonen with a set power system. Like, I'm not even joking, most of the characters in the show can do shit that most NBA players probably can't even do. Like, for example, there's a character in the show named Midori Miya who's literally able to just jump really high, have really good accuracy. Like, this dude in the first season shoots a full court 3-point shot, and this dude just makes it seem so easy. Like, everybody on the court is just like shocked as hell. But like, this isn't even the craziest ability in the show. That goes to Akashi. Basically, Akashi has this ability called Emperor's Eye, which basically gives him hacks, alright? This basically allows him to predict his opponent's moves and give some of the meanest ankle breakers I've ever seen. Like, just look at this shit. And I can honestly go on about the crazy abilities in the show, but I feel like you guys kind of get the point. Compared to Haikyu, the show is a lot more unrealistic, and a lot of people like to bash and criticize the show for that, but personally, that's one of the main reasons why I love it. Seeing high school boys do all of this over a simple game of basketball is something you only see inside of an anime, and it truly goes to show just how creative anime can get sometimes. But overall, I enjoy watching Kuroko no Basket just as much as Haikyu, if not even more than Haikyu, but it's still not my favorite sports anime, and I will get to that soon. But overall, that's how I'd summarize most sports anime. You have the more realistic series like Haikyu. I'd also put with the Wind in this category, and Yuri on Ice. And then you have the more unrealistic side with series like Kuroko no Basket, Blue Lock, which I say is basically Kuroko no Basket but on crack. And this might be a stretch, but I'd also fit Baki into this category, even though that statement becomes very difficult to defend as the series goes on. For those who have seen the show, y'all basically know it's like an entity of its own, and honestly, I'm considering making a video about it. But anyways, I did mention something earlier about my favorite sports anime. Now, my favorite sports anime is truly the greatest sports anime of all time, alright? And no, I have not watched or read Slam Dunk, alright? I will get to that eventually. But my favorite sports anime is Hajime no Ippo. Hajime no Ippo is truly the GOAT, alright? For starters, the series mixes both the realistic and unrealistic types of sports anime. Even though the series leans more to the realistic side, it does have its fair share of unrealistic moments. Another thing I really like about the series are its characters. Typically, after each major fight in the show, we get more slice-of-life moments. And this is really where we get close to the characters in the show. And also a lot of the series' more comedic moments. But by far, my favorite thing about the series are its fights. The intense action that goes into these fights never misses, and you can really feel the impact of some of these punches that these characters throw. But with all the action aside, I think my favorite thing about these fights are the moments that lead up to them. And this is mostly because of the interactions and the tension that builds up between both of the opponents. And I'm going to use the Takamura versus Brian Hawk fight as an example of this. And I will be going into light spoilers about this fight, so skip ahead if you really want to. But basically, in the second season of the anime, Takamura, who's one of the main protagonist, has to go against Brian Hawk, who is currently the middleweight boxing champion. But before the fight, Takamura needs to do a lot of training because this is not going to be an easy match. And his opponent, Brian Hawk, is not the nicest guy ever. Like in each press conference these two have, he's just straight up disrespecting Takamura in each of them. And nah, he's not just disrespecting Takamura, he's disrespecting Takamura's close ones and just the entire country of Japan as a whole. Like, this is next level hating right here. But this deeply enrages Takamura, and understandably so. And all of this makes Takamura train harder, so much that by the time the weigh-in arrives, he barely passes the weight check. But once the day of the match arrives, Takamura is fully prepared. And for most of this fight, things seem pretty equal. I mean, they were both getting really good hits in. But all that changes once Takamura starts releasing all that built-up rage he had before. And I mean, from that point on, it was basically over for Hawk, alright? Like, once your opponent starts emitting steam from your body, you're done. You're done. And by the end, Takamura gets the championship and gets a really well-deserved victory. And matches like these is what makes the series so great. Because out of all the sports anime I've seen, none have been able to do build-up as well as Ippo does. And this, along with the slice-of-life moments I mentioned earlier, really makes you want to root for the cast and feel for them. And these are the reasons why Hajime no Ippo is my favorite sports anime. But that's going to do it for the video. But if you haven't seen a sports anime before, or you have and you're just looking for a new one to watch, then I hope at least one of these series have piqued your interest. But thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and watch Keijo.